Welcome back to a new video, my friend. It's been a minute. It's been 3 weeks or something since the last video came out. And during that time, I've done a lot of thinking. And I will now change my approach. What I mean by that is, until now, I've uploaded one video for each section of the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, as you know. And it feels like for me that you guys are not that interested into watching every time a new video on the same book, basically. So what I decided to do from now on is whenever I start reviewing a book, I will do one bigger video on that book, and that would be it. So with that being said, today in this video, I'm going to talk about the other lessons and chapters that I haven't discussed yet. And this will probably a longer video. So I would say let's get right into it. So last time we talked about lesson 2. So now we would be at lesson number 3, which is called Mind Your Own Business. That basically means create your own business first, because financial struggle is often directly the result of people working all their lives for someone else, meaning your boss or the company, right? Of course, you should keep your job until your business, which you build up yourself, makes you enough money to be able to quit your job. I think it's quite simple, quite clear. Lesson number 4. The history of taxes and the power of corporations. So, the real rich, they never pay taxes. The people who pay taxes are the educated, the middle class. Poor dad knew the history of education, and rich dad knew the history of taxes. An interesting point about taxes is that it was initially only for the rich to pay. And that's what the government told the poor and the middle class, to help them get on board with the idea. That was how it got voted into law in the first place. But nowadays, the rich look for legal loopholes to avoid paying taxes. That's why they often hire the smartest accountants and attorneys. So that basically means if you know the taxes and you know those loopholes yourself, you can save a lot of money, right? So with lesson number 4, we have the rich invent money. So some people have a great opportunity present itself only to fail to have enough money to take advantage of it. Others have a fantastic opportunity, only lacking the ability to recognize that it is a great opportunity. So the strategy of the average person is work hard, save and borrow. But instead of working hard, they should aim to improve their financial intelligence so that they can make more money. Because the people who get rich the fastest are those who realize that money isn't real. So here's a quote from the book directly. It's not gambling if you know what you're doing. It's gambling if you're just throwing money into your deal and praying. So most people never win because they're more afraid of losing. We're still in a quote, that's what I found school so silly. In school we learn that mistakes are bad and we are punished for making them. Yet if you look at the way humans are designed to learn, we learn by making mistakes. We learn to walk by falling down. If we never fell down, we would never walk. People's fear of losing causes them to not be rich. And people who avoid failure also avoid success. I think that is kind of true. I understand that you do not want to lose money, obviously, but you just have to take risks sometimes. And maybe it works out on the first try, maybe it doesn't, and only works out in a 10th time, I don't know. But if you don't try it, you will never learn from it. So that's like the main essence of this quote. And he named 3 skills of an investor which are necessary. So number 1 would be find an opportunity that everyone else missed. See with your mind instead of your eyes. Number 2, raise money. Know how to raise capital outside of a bank. And number 3, organize smart people. Hire people more intelligent than you. Then we come to lesson number 6. You notice I'm going through them a bit faster now, because I also don't want to stretch the video too long. Work to learn, don't work for money. The world has many successful and talented people, doctors, lawyers, dentists, and everything, right? And still they struggle financially. But as a wise business consultant once said, they are one skill away from great wealth. If you took your skill set and paired it with financial intelligence, accounting, investing, marketing, or law, you could achieve great wealth. So Robert Kiyosaki said, job is an acronym for just over broke. You see what he did there? So he recommends taking on jobs that can learn new skills and take instead of jobs that pay the most. And or to say it otherwise, he recommends to take also a second job that will teach you a second skill. So it's normal to feel a bit resistance of that idea, because you might not be excited to do something you aren't passionate about. But remember, you go to the gym not because you want to, but you want to be healthy and live a long life. So you go to the gym for the end result and not for the pain. So, and it's the same lesson here. You build up the skills not because you have fun doing it, but it will benefit you in the long run. And the most important skills are sales and marketing. That's a fact, because if you know how sales work, you can also sell yourself for investors, for other jobs, whatever. And marketing is just getting attention and the right amount of attention, right? So, and then that would actually be the last lesson. So he now comes with chapter 7, which would be overcoming obstacles. So there are 5 core reasons why even financial literate people don't become financially independent. Number 1, fear. Number 2, cynicism. Number 3, laziness. Number 4, bad habits. And number 5, arrogance. So some people are afraid or terrified of snakes. Some people are terrified of losing money. Both are phobias. That's why it was crucial for Robert's rich dad to teach the sons how to take risks at a young age. The younger you are, the easier it is to become rich. So by that, losers are defeated by loss and winners are inspired by loss. You can still hate losing without being afraid of it. You see? Meaning you have to overcome your own mental obstacles to be able to achieve something. So then we have chapter 8, getting started. And here's a list of basically 10 steps to develop your powers. Let's just go through them. So number 1, find a reason greater than reality. Here's an example. A young woman who dreamed of going to the Olympics would swim every morning for 3 hours before going to school. She also spent her weekends studying to maintain high grades. And when asked why, she responded, I do it for myself and the people I love. It's love that gets me over the hurdles and sacrifices. You see, a reason greater than reality. Number 2, make daily choices. With every dollar we receive, we choose whether we become rich, poor, or the middle class. However, you need to train your children to know how to manage your assets, otherwise they'll be lost in the next generation. Meaning it is important to learn how to invest before starting to invest. I think that's quite obvious, right? Next would be number 3, choose friends carefully. So you don't have necessarily to choose friends based on their financial statements. Whether you should choose friends to talk about money with you and are interested in a subject. Because people with money often report that their friends without money never ask them how they did it, but they ask to a loan, a job, or money, right? But they're not interested in how to actually achieve it. So that basically means you should surround yourself with people who are also interested in making more money and becoming financially independent. I think that is a very good advice. Number 4, master a formula and then learn a new one. So study what you want to do. For example, if you want to cook, study cooking. But if you want to make money, don't work for it. Most people learn but fail the most crucial step, action. It's not what you know, but how fast you learn. Meaning, if you learn, for example, as an example stated here, cooking, sure, you can study cooking, become a great cook, right? But why don't you also learn the financial stuff to use your skill that you already have, the cooking skill, to make money in other ways instead of just being like an employee? Number 5, pay yourself first. Without self-discipline, you wouldn't know how to manage $1 million if you were to receive it. You only get pushed around in life if you lack self-discipline and internal control. The 3 most important management skills to start your own business are cash flow, people, and personal time. That means people who pay themselves first end up using the money to acquire assets that pay for their expenses. And then their leftover is income. People who pay themselves last lose all their money with expenses. So if your cash flow is far less than your bills, you need to pay yourself first. So Robert has more liabilities than most of the population, but he uses tenants to pay for his debts. And tips for paying yourself are: don't get into large debt positions that you have to pay for. Keep your expenses low. Don't dip into your savings when pressure builds. Use pressure to find new ways of making money. Savings needs to be used to make more money instead of paying bills. So here again, we really have like the mindset. And okay, then we come to number 6. Pay your brokers well. Pay professionals well and have expensive attorneys, accountants, real estate brokers, and stockbrokers. Their services should be making you money. Those professionals who make more will also make you more money. Poor people will often tip restaurant service 15 to 20% even with lousy service, but get mad when they need to pay a broker 3 to 7%. Have a board of directors. It's essential to have people working for you who are smarter than you. So what does it mean? You should have professionals around you if you have a business, and also make sure that they are getting paid well, because if they are getting paid well, they're more likely to help you in your business to get more yourself. Alright, number 7, be an Indian giver. So the sophisticated investor's first question is, how fast do I get my money back? They also want to know what they get for free, also called a piece of the action. That is why the ROI, or the return on investment, is so important. So when Robert wanted to buy a small condominium in foreclosure, he submitted a bid $10,000 less than asking. But since he presented a cashier's check with the full amount, the bank knew it was a serious deal and accepted it. After 3 years of renting out the property, Robert officially owns the asset, which continues to make money. So when you require an investment, you should aim to get something free with it. For example, a condominium, a piece of land, chalk stairs, etc. So the McDonald's founder, Ray Kroc, wanted the land underneath every McDonald's location for free with every franchise he opened. Why? Because he would then get the property, the real estate, which at the end of the day made the real money. So number 8, use assets to buy luxuries. So father wanted to teach his child how to make money. His son had been asking for a car but didn't want him spending his college money on it. His father gave him $3,000 that his son could use to buy a vehicle indirectly. So he couldn't use the cash to buy a car. His son started learning how to invest in stocks. He read every book, he read publications. Even though he lost $2,000 in the stock market, his interest had been piqued. So, don't buy luxuries with liabilities like credit. Buy them from your asset column. If 100 people get $10,000 at the beginning of the year, by the end, 80 people would have spent it all or gone further in debt. 16 would have increased the amount by 5 to 10%, and 4 would have either doubled it or grew it into the millions. It is very straightforward. So only pay for luxuries with the assets you make, with the assets that generate your money. Number 9. Choose heroes. So Robert's heroes are Warren Buffett, Peter Lynch, George Soros, and so on. And when Robert analyzes a deal, he tries to look at it the same way Warren Buffett would. The strategy helps him to tap into raw genius. That means if you have like the persons that you're looking up to in terms of money, you really know start learning how they think, how they see a deal, etc. And when you are in a similar position, when you can have a deal yourself, you set yourself into the position of your hero and then try to see it from their eyes. And that might really change the things you view. Then you might realize that an opportunity isn't really an opportunity, and that can help you a lot. Teach and you shall receive. So Robert's rich dad taught him to be charitable. His poor dad taught him to give away his time and knowledge, but not money. So the rich dad says, if you want something, you first need to give. So if you want money, you need to give money. You need to invest something. And with chapter 9, there's still more things that you can do. So more general advice again. So stop doing what you're doing. If it's not working, try something new. Look for new ideas. Read how to books with formulas and topics you want to learn more about. Like what we are doing right now, right? I want to learn more about money, so I read this book. And there's also a recommendation. Read The 16% Solution by Joel Moskowitz. I don't know whether I will read it because I have still a long list of books that I need to read, but I definitely noted it down. So find someone who has done what you want to do. Find the expert who has done something you want to do and pick their brain so you can learn from them. I think some of them are just obvious. You just need to really realize them for yourselves and act on them. The next point would be take classes, read, and attend seminars. Many classes are free or low cost. Search the internet for them so you can absorb more knowledge. Knowledge is power, right? Make lots of offers. Robert submits offers on multiple real estate properties that he wants. He leaves the deal up to the real estate agent who's the expert, whereas he isn't. So most sellers ask for too much money, and until there's a second offer, it's hard to know what the right price is. You'd be surprised at how many people would say yes to an offer. Next point. Jog, walk, or drive a certain area once a month for 10 minutes. You find some of the best real estate investments by driving around. He might talk to postal workers, moving truck workers, retailers, and so forth to better understand the neighborhood. So obviously Robert is heavily invested in real estate. It's like his main assets, and I think the main reason for that is real estate is the one and only true source of passive income. Because you literally just have to own the real estate. That's it. You don't have to do something actively yourself. Because the people living there will pay you money to be able to live there. And that is the idea of passive income. So, next point. Shop for bargains in all markets. Profits are made in the buying, not in the selling. That means always check for offers and get percentages of whatever. The more you save, the more you can use it for your investments or for your business. Look in the right places. Most people buy with real estate agents. Robert buys at the foreclosure auctions. See, big difference. Look for people who want to buy first, then look for someone who wants to sell. When buying property, find a seller, then find a person who's looking to sell the property and buy through them. Think big. If your business is buying something in bulk, call some friends up to see if they're looking for that as well. Then you can negotiate deals for having a large bulk purchase so you get the best deal on what you're buying. Next point, learn from history. All the big companies on the stock exchange started out as small companies. You know the stories of how many companies started in a little garage or something. And last but not least, action always beats inaction. Speaks for itself. So here's a last quote. The key to financial freedom and great wealth is a person's ability to convert earned income into passive and/or portfolio income. So, yes, that's it with Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I learned quite a lot from this book. I hope you will too. Again, even though we made this, this summary, I told you what, explained stuff to you. I still recommend that you should read this your own, because it still hits a bit different, I guess, and it really changed the way I think about money. And I mean, as of right now, I don't have an income or anything, right? But as soon as I have a job, I will definitely try to apply the advice and tips he gave as good as possible. And with that being said, let me know your thoughts on this book. Perhaps you have also read it, perhaps you don't, but still, let me know what you guys think. And I would say I'm now looking for a book that I will read next. And as I said in the beginning, from now on, when I read a book, when I finish reading a book, I will make one big video on it and then move on with the other topics. So, with that being said, sometime during this week, I will make a new video. I think, yeah, I once teased that I was going to make a video about time, and I will do definitely this week this video about time. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you next time.